Okay, happy Monday, everyone. We're back with another New York Times Daily Crossword Solve. It is Monday, June the 9th, and we're looking at a probably easy beginning of the week puzzle by crossword constructor Amy Lucido. I don't recognize that name. Maybe it's a debut. Not quite sure. We'll find out. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of explaining as I go along. It being an easier puzzle today. All right, let's dive right in. Refill at a Shell station, say. They're looking for a gas station. I'm guessing they're wanting the phrase here, gas up. In 5 letters, that's my best guess for that. Relative of a rapier is a type of a fencing sword. Usually they want épée here, but with 5 letters, I'm guessing they're looking for saber. We'll see how that treats us. I guess I get the joke. So with this clue in quotes, they want something that you could say that would mean the same thing. I would have guessed okay, or maybe it's like heh, something like that. But I'm not sure if that counts as a word. Anyway, we'll see. Stinks. I mean, it could be anything. It could be reeks. It could be, not sure what else. Probably we can put the S in there though, and that gives us some clue as to what kind of word 5 down is going to be, but I'll get to that. Leave me blank. Leave me alone, I would guess. A clue with a quote and a blank in it. Probably you're just trying to fill in the blank. Although this EE looks a little weird. Spurned. Okay, so one of these is probably wrong. Let's find out which. Spot for valuables. Oh, a safe. That makes good sense. A Utah skiing area. I'm not that familiar with ski resorts in Utah. I'm not sure. Niels Bohr is a physicist, the name of a physicist portrayed by Kenneth Branagh in Oppenheimer. I haven't seen Oppenheimer, actually. I didn't realize that Niels Bohr featured in that film, or not sure really of Bohr's involvement in the Oppenheimer project, but sure, why not? The opposite of, okay, so they must be looking for saber spelled like that. Okay, that's good. Opposite of west, southwest as a direction is going to be east by northeast. And then spurned, probably spurned usually use a spurned lover, like that kind of thing, a rejected advance of some kind. I think this is what they're going to be after here. This is a little bit weird, but we'll see what comes of it. Cloudless, as in a sky. You could have a clear sky. Any of several kings of Norway. Olaf is a pretty popular name for Norwegian kings. I know there have been sort of Olaf the First and Second and Third and who knows how many. I think at least 6 by now, but I couldn't say for sure. Hitchcock film given an R rating 24 years after its release. Now that's interesting. I wonder if the rating system changed in the meanwhile. I mean, this is obviously Psycho, the film that we're looking for. I wonder if the rating system changed that necessitated a rating change. 24 years after its release. That would have put it in what, the late 80s maybe? That seems like a time when the Academy would have been trying to revise its system. Maybe. A clickable address. We're looking for a URL here, a uniform resource locator. In other words, a web address. So stinks. See, I would have thought this, if it was a noun, I don't really think of stinks as a noun. If it were, it could be odors, but maybe there's another verb that I'm not missing here. It's often packed during the final few weeks of pregnancy. Packed. Often packed. Like a go bag. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. So when you're approaching the due date, you would sort of have a go bag ready to go in case you need to rush out to the hospital. Okay, maybe this is odors. Singer of the theme song to Skyfall, the James Bond film. This is Adele, so maybe this is going to be odors. And then Georg Blank, the longtime Chicago Symphony conductor, is Georg Schulte. So what was this? Music genre modifier, alt, yeah, so you can have alt rock or alt pop as different kinds of sort of music subgenres, perhaps. Kimono clad entertainer, this is a geisha, sort of came to broader awareness in Western society after the book and then the film Memoirs of a Geisha, as a sort of a career. Is it not quite the right word, but something like that anyway. Occupation, certainly, as people who are trained from a young age to be sort of consorts and escorts. Okay, a dangerous thing to be inside. So it looks like it's going to be belly of the beast. So rejected then maybe is instead rebuffed. Same idea, but different word. And this will be Alta, the Utah skiing area. Belly of the beast, dangerous thing to be inside. Okay, very good. Slap me 5. Slap me 5. Is this high five, or are they asking for $5, or slap me 5? I don't know what that means. Oh, sporting equipment, that is French for sword. I think here then we do finally have the épée that I thought might be the alternative answer up in 6 across. I'm pretty sure this is what this is going to be. Not too many. A few is not too many. Blank lingus. This is the airline, the Irish, I think, airline, and it's spelled this way, Aer Lingus. I'm pretty sure. A trumpet blast. Blare. I don't as a musician don't necessarily associate the word blare with trumpets specifically, but yeah, that could be, it could be something else, but let's see. A vast void could be an abyss. An abyss is a word. There's a funny there used to be a Twitter account. Who was it? Cosima Wagner. So Richard Wagner's wife was Cosima Wagner, who was, I believe, the daughter of Franz Liszt. She was originally Cosima Liszt, I think. Cosima von Liszt. Anyway, there's a fake Twitter account, supposedly by Cosima Wagner, who basically commented on various quotes by Richard Wagner. Apparently, Wagner at one point told Cosima, or wrote to her perhaps, that you are the thread upon which I dangle over the abyss, or something like that. And I think the Twitter account quoted that quote and then responded, oh, that Richard, what a card, or something like that, in response to that clearly melodramatic quote. Anyway, that's what I think of when I think of the word abyss. But it is a vast sort of expanse, usually a gaping hole of some kind. Okay, a colorful puppy of children's TV. Oh, this is, what on earth is the name of the thing? This is gonna bug me. I'll get it eventually, but Easter or Passover, but not Christmas. Easter or Passover, but not Christmas. So they're trying to redirect us. They're trying to trick us a little bit here into thinking holidays, but I think that's not what we're after. But I don't know what we're after. Captain Hook's right-hand man was Smee in the J.M. Barrie novels and the many adaptations. Bluey? Is this Bluey, the colorful puppy? I don't even know how to spell Bluey. Like that? Could be yup, again with the quotes. We're looking for a replacement for this phrase. Okay. Momentary slip, a lapse. What is going on up there? Okay. I'm going to get back to that in a second. A momentary slip, a lapse, like a lapse in judgment or a lapse in memory. This looks like it's going to be movable feast. Okay, I see. It is holidays that we're after. I normally, when you see this or this but not this, it's a redirect. But in this case, it's not. It's actually, they're just talking about the fact that Christmas falls on December 25th each year, aligns with the calendar, whereas Easter and Passover are literally movable. They fall on different dates based on the number of Sundays in the year and so on. So this, I guess, it's going to be Olav. which I've never really seen it spelled that way, but yeah, all right, I guess. Oh, slap me 5 up top. It was a high 5 after all. That's good. Okay, stretches of baking days. Don't know what we're looking for. Canadian gasoline brand Esso, which appears in the New York Times Daily Crossword with surprising frequency, and usually has, well, about half the time is referred to as a Canadian gasoline brand. And I'm just, is there nothing, I mean, I guess this combination of letters only has sort of one thing that it can point to, and it's Canadian, so I don't know. Web address starter. Now, we've seen a couple of these. Okay, so we had 4 down URL, a clickable address, and then 13 down a web address starter to HTTP, a hypertext transfer protocol, with which usually starts a URL. And then over here we had a saber, a relative of a rapier, and also sporting equipment that's French for swords. They're not clued like they're sort of related clues, but they are clearly, and all sort of in the top half of this crossword. Yeah. Record holder's suffix est. So you think about the kinds of records in the Guinness Book or whatever, and you have things like longest, fastest, shortest, tallest, oldest, like those kinds of things. So est is the suffix you see most often associated with those. Okay, so stretches of baking days. Okay, so not days on which you might bake pastries, but days that you might refer to as baking hot, or that kind of thing, or days where the earth gets absolutely baked, like something like that. So we're looking for a heat waves, I should say, stretches, heat waves. And then this was he, after all. I guess I get the joke, he, kind of a half-hearted response to that. Okay, by way of, the Latin word via, and now used frequently in English, literally means by way of, but you can just say via, some people say. An old wives' tale is a phrase, oops, sort of a folk mythology or folk tale. They're often spurious, or often not based entirely in truth, and particularly sometimes precautionary, or sometimes dealing with remedies. Okay, linger on, and with the on in brackets, we're looking for a word that would also use on as part of its construction. So dwell on, to linger on something, to dwell on it. A place for a flower box. You might put a flower box on a windowsill. A typical Caribbean cruise stop would be an isle, just an island, any of the islands in the Caribbean. At blank end, meaning frazzled. I don't think I guess it's a Monday puzzle, so they wanted to give an extra hint here. I really don't think you need frazzled here to be able to get at wit's end, that phrase. There's not a lot of phrases that have at blank end, so I would have gotten that, I think, even without. Valentine bouquet, the stereotypical bouquet at Valentine's is roses. A sphere, another word for a sphere is an orb. Orb also appears pretty regularly in the New York Times crossword as an answer. Great delight, not sure. Lent a hand to. Aided, perhaps, certainly the D is probably what we're looking for here. Shoot for the stars. This is going to be something punny, I think, but not sure what exactly yet. Sidestepper on a beach. This is a crab. Crabs sort of famously walk sideways, and then you might find them on a beach. A court order is a writ. Could be many different kinds of writs, but that's certainly, that word is pretty much only used when a court sort of decrees that something is to be done or not done. Let's go down here. Attire could be garb, in which case great delight could be glee. Glee was in the crossword just, I think, yesterday as well, but clued as the TV show. So this could be garb as another word for attire. And then this is definitely aided then with all that in. Cloth at a car wash. Rag, I guess, is something you sort of commonly use to clean your car with. Pinocchio at times. At times was certainly a liar. At those times his nose grew, famously. Okay, and then beer maker's supply is brewer's yeast. different kinds of yeast for different kinds of purposes, and this kind of yeast will help to transform sugars from the grain that you're using into alcohol for a beer. Outliers in the data. I think we're looking for edge cases here. I'm not familiar with that phrase so much, but I'm pretty sure that given edge and the C, that's probably what we're after. An insurance filing is a claim, an insurance claim. Shoot for the stars could be to dream big. I thought this was going to be punny, but I guess it's a Monday, so the clues are more straightforward. Court surface for the French Open was just concluded yesterday is clay, the famous red clay at Roland Garros French Open tennis tournament, one of the 4 Grand Slams, one of the 4 major tournaments of the tennis season. Word before dear or after hell. Yes, dear, or hell yes. And I wonder why this one seems to be sort of cross-clued with 39 across. I really don't think that's necessary. Is yup, and then word before dear or after hell is yes. I mean, they're kind of the same thing, but there's really no reason why they should be sort of cross-highlighting there. I don't know. Did something exceptionally well in slang. You could say you aced something. I had to... Except... No, that's not right. Because we're looking for something past tense here. And so what is more modern slang than ace is ate. And if you did something exceptionally well, the young people say he or she or they ate. Arriving at 8 o'clock for a 7 o'clock dinner, say, well, that would make you late, wouldn't it? Okay, and this is the theme revealer. I won't get too far into it here. And bringing up the rear, last but not least. I sort of see where we're going with that, but I'll finish the puzzle and then we'll get into it. Game with skip cards. Uno is a game that frequently appears in the puzzle and has a card that makes you, or that results in the next person sort of skipping or losing their turn. A pond honker, you might find a goose who might be honking around, at a pond. Bart Simpson's bus driver's name was Otto, famously always with the headphones on in The Simpsons. Not a very defensive driver. Info gathered by spies, and info being sort of short-formed for information. We're looking for here intel or intelligence, short form for intelligence. So the short form in the clue gives us the hint that it's supposed to be a short form in the answer as well. Individuals are ones. Blanked and odd. Oohed and odd if you were very particularly impressed by something or pretending to be. A groundhog's home is going to be a hole in the ground. Assist with a crime is to abet, another frequent answer in the crossword. To moves obliquely. Obliquely can mean both figuratively or literally on an oblique angle, and sort of like moving sort of not straight forward or direct, but sort of strafing in old video game terms, or like sort of skirting around the outside of a situation. Anyway, it's sidles, sorry, is what we're looking for. It's just a word for saying you're not moving in a sort of straight path, a direct path, but sort of going around. A small French eatery could be a bistro. One could be dominant or recessive. See, I would have thought gene here. So I'm not sure what we're looking for. Follower of Haile Selassie informally. A Rasta. I think a Rastafarian. I think Haile Selassie was one of the founders of the Rastafarian movement or religion. A scampering rodent, probably a rat, I'm guessing. A river animal often seen on its back would be an otter. There was a funny clue about an otter. Not funny, but interesting clue about an otter maybe a week ago or so. A quote by someone about just kind of a very poetic description of an otter. I can't remember who though now. Quarterback Manning. Eli Manning was a very famous quarterback. It's famous enough that even a non-football fan such as myself would be able to pick up that name. Instrument used in Hindustani classical music, a sitar. Ravi Shankar, one of the most famous sitar players, played with the Beatles and many other people. George Harrison in particular and Ravi Shankar were great friends. Top class is elite, and then, so a dominant or recessive trait. And so this is something like red hair, for instance, is a recessive trait. And so it's genetically passed on, but not always. And so in that case, you have sort of fewer and fewer people in each generation with red hair. Anyway, I believe that's what we are here. Good, and still managed to get it under 20 minutes. I feel like as a result of doing these slower Monday puzzles, my Monday time is going to be, my average time for Mondays is going to go up, but that's okay. Who cares? Okay, so last but not least, so an apt description of the ends of 17, 26, and 46 across. And so I guess what it's sort of insinuating here is that the last word in each of these phrases is not least, but it's kind of close to least. So this one ends, belly of the beast ends in beast, movable feast ends in feast, brewer's yeast. None of those end with their last word being least, but close. Last but not least. Kind of a cute thing for a Monday puzzle. But some great phrases ending in the EAST. Belly of the beast, movable feast, brewer's yeast, and last but not least. Yeah, a good, solid Monday puzzle. Some unintentional twinning in here, as I mentioned, URL and HTTP and Saber and Epay. And then this one's still confusing me. Yup and yes, cross-clued so that they highlight each other when you go over them. And I really feel like that's unnecessary, but anyway, there you go. Monday, June 9th. Fun enough puzzle by Amy Lucido. And I'll put this up, and I hope to do another couple later this week. So hopefully I can get to that, and enjoy the rest of your Monday. See you again soon.